Yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay. Hi. Hi. Okay. So, hello, hi, how are you? I have decided I'm going to embark upon this journey. I'm going to embark on this journey of podcasting. And this has been something that I've been thinking about doing at least for the last hour or so. And it's been like a wave of things. I've gone back and forth about what do I want to do? What do I talk about? Is this life meant for me? And I don't know. But I do know that I need to just do more fun things. And on the topic of, wait, I haven't introduced a topic. On the topic of what I want to talk about today, which is the 2010s, which my next Substack article is going to be about 2010s Whimsy and how we all need it back immediately. When I was starting to write it, it made me think of what is the difference between Kayla now versus Kayla back in 2010. Which we could argue a couple things. I was in the 5th grade then, so that's probably the major difference, right? I hadn't had a period yet. There was a couple of things that were quite different at the time. But one of the big things was my sense of whimsy. I was hi, my name's Kayla. wait, wait. Wait, I didn't even introduce myself. Sorry. But this is stupid. But the transition into the topic was quite seamless. Let's have a moment for that. But oh my God, say your name. Hi, my name's Kayla. I'm 24. I'm I'm a Virgo. I don't know information anyone would want to know. Yeah. And I'm an artist. And a lot of my Substack articles, if you want to go back and read, I don't know, or if you have read them, is usually about art, being an artist in New York and everything that goes with that, and my journey because I moved here a year ago. And yeah, it's about all of that usually, or growth in your 20s and the awkwardness of it, because I feel awkward all of the time. I swear, and I'm not making a joke. I swear it's worse than middle school, this growth era of mine right now. I feel my frontal lobe closing. I do, and that's exciting, but no realizations have come forth quite yet. So I just feel all over the place all of the time. And so that's usually what I write about. And I also write a lot about society today and pop culture and the internet and social media, because I'm forever taken aback by how freaking mean everyone is all of the time on the internet now. That's actually what my last Substack article was, or the one before that. I went crazy. It's 7 pages long, but I went crazy because I hate okay, I'm gonna get into the 2010s thing. I'll circle back. Trust, I'll circle back. But I think it ties into the whimsy, because that's where me wanting to talk about whimsy came from, and this Obama era optimism everyone always talks about on the internet. It's such a real thing because I remember it. But also I think people are so mean now on the internet on a level that I don't know existed back in the day, or at least maybe not my corner of the internet, because I was 10 again, right? So I don't know if the Teletubbies were into that shit on my side of the internet, if it was that dark. But everyone else is so nasty and mean. And the things I see people casually say, on TikTok and stuff, and I am on the brink of deleting TikTok. I'm quite frankly at that place. I'm about to delete it, because when you start rolling your eyes constantly when you're opening an app to something, I think it's the time that you sit down and say, hey, Kayla, delete it. You don't need to have it. I go on, I'm oh, I've got to go on TikTok. And then I start rolling my eyes and getting frustrated. And then I have this moment where it's hey, I don't have to be here right now. I can just delete it. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. I'm at that point with TikTok. Because I go on it and people are so mean, man. And like let people, and they're being mean to people that are just being themselves or just being a little quirky, which if the worst you are is quirky or annoying, hey, what a good life you're leading. What a good life you're leading if the worst you are is a little bit annoying to a stranger on the internet. And they will beat this person to the ground in the comments. And I'm like, is this what we're spending our time on? And not to get super deep for a second, we all know where it's coming from. We live in a time of cynicism. Our world is falling apart right in front of our eyes. Our government is shit, right? It's continuing to ruin and destroy the lives of people my age, especially people my age, and just Gen Z in general, right? Throughout our lifetime, we've gone through a lot. And I understand fully where the cynicism comes from, but I would say it's across generations thing. Like any generation that's on the internet, I think falls victim to this just negativity. And it makes me so sad. And it started to make me think and go really deep into nostalgia. Like I was on Nostalgia Talk and then I went on YouTube and was just watching like old videos that I used to watch back between 2010 and like 2017. And I just got so emotional about who I was at that time, on a very like vulnerable level too, right? Between then and now, people in my life have gone on to be with the Lord, right? And so I also look back on that time period of my life, in a very, yeah, nostalgic way, because it also reminds me of the people that were still alive and here with me at that time that are not anymore. So it's that part about it, right? We connect it also to our youth and to our innocence. There's a lot of reasons why we find periods of time nostalgic, whether they were actually better or not. Because I'm also romanticizing the 2010s, and like people literally couldn't marry who they wanted back then, right? Like gay people couldn't marry each other. So like I'm romanticizing a time that also wasn't as progressive as where we are now, but you could also argue we're going backwards at quite a fast rate right now as well. So I don't know. Anyway, my point is I was on Nostalgia Talk. Why didn't I get back to the topic? I was on Nostalgia Talk, and then I went on YouTube, and then I started listening to One Direction. I started listening to One Direction circa the All Night album. Okay. And I was bawling. I was, oh yeah, wait, what's that one? Is this gonna get copyrighted? Wait, what's the one? Hold on. I gotta pull it up to make my point. Anyway, I was going down a rabbit hole and I was listening to One Direction. I was listening to Mindless Behavior. We text each other a lot. And my girl, she loved me. Hey, okay. I was in it. I was going crazy. I was having so much fun dancing around in my room. No one was there. In silence, in the dark. It was insane. I was like, if anyone walks in, because I have my earphones on, they're going to be like, what is wrong with her? But anyway, the Up All Night album, it makes it beautiful. No, it was Up All Night. That's what I was going crazy to. I was listening to it over and over. Can I play it? Do I get in trouble? Do I get in trouble? It feels like we've been living in fast forward. Another moment passing by all night. Okay. Anyway, I didn't even take 5 minutes just to like pull that up. But yeah. And I was like, what? There's just, I wrote, wait. No. Okay. This podcast thing is a work in progress. I'm going to get my thoughts together. But I was making a list of everything that brought me joy during the 2010s, whether that be Tumblr, Hamilton, the Lemonade album, hello, right? Just anything. And I was writing it all down, and the list was insanely long. And I was going down and I was like, what do all of these things have in common? Even from like Bart, what's his name? Bart Baker, the like the guy that would do the parody videos on YouTube of songs, like down to the most specific things. And I was like, what do all these things have in common? And I think with everything, there was a sense of vulnerability in what anyone was putting out creatively, but also in how all of us, as just everyday people in society, were responding to it, right? When we think about like the mannequin challenge or the ice bucket challenge or all of these things, you have everyday people just making a video, shout out Vine, making a video of something that they thought was funny and just like putting it out there. And now I think we live in a time, I mean, people post TikTok videos all the time. There's people that still boldly like put their art or their creative ideas or just something they find funny out into the world or out in public. Let's put it in real life, like not just in the context of the internet, go out and are bold and live their life boldly every day. There's still people that do that all the time and they're an inspiration. But I think if I could speak quite generally for a second, I think there's a lot of people that are just afraid to do that out of fear that they're going to be filmed in public, right, without their consent, and people are going to make fun of them. I know I have seen those videos all over TikTok or Twitter or whatever. I don't have Twitter, thank God, but whatever, of people making fun of people that they just filmed randomly out in public, right? So I think that's like a legitimate fear people have, whether you acknowledge that as something that's fearful to you or something that's unconscious. I think we all kind of live with that now. And then I also think there's this fear of cringe like no other. I'm cooking pasta. Let me check on it. BRB. Oh shit! The pasta! I almost forgot I was cooking it. Oh no! Wait, I'm coming back. Anyway, my point was, I think there's this fear, yeah, being seen, and this fear of being cringed that I think we had kind of cringe develop in the 2010s. I wrote a whole Substack article on this. Go read it if you're interested. But she being me, will always bring it back to politics. I think the rise of the Trump era and trying to own people all the time, right? And embarrass people and just be cruel to people needlessly, um, ties back to the rise of Trump. And I think Trump being in the zeitgeist and being around for the last 10 years of our lives definitely plays a role in the comfort people have and just being cruel, right? And how we also demonize truly kind people and just kind of push it away often as just cringe. And I'm like, I think they're just being a nice person. No, it's cringy. Oh, I think they're just being nice, right? Someone like singing, I don't know, singing at someone's wedding, and maybe they don't have the strongest voice, but we see it posted on TikTok. Oh, so cringe. Oh, so cringe. I think they're just singing a nice song for their friend. Hey, leave them alone. Also, their friend let them do it. I think we should let them live. Why are we making fun of it for the next week and a half? And also, why are we making videos on it? Like 10-minute long discourse video. Don't even get me started on discourse. Guys, I hate the word discourse. I hate it so bad. Oh my gosh. I'm going all over the place topic wise, but I got to talk about discourse for a second. I hate the word discourse. What does that mean? Okay. It sounds like to me what I see on TikTok is just a bunch of people talking to themselves. Anytime I see someone make like a 10-minute long video on some kind of TikTok discourse that's been going on for a week and a half about some topic that truly I don't think is a meaningful way to engage in conversation at all. Like I am a firm believer that true conversation that moves toward progress has to happen in community or is the most successful in community. TikTok is just social media, right? So like if someone says something I don't agree with or I think is dumb as hell, I'm just going to click out of it or block you because I'm like, I don't want to see this person again. They piss me off, right? Versus if we really wanted to engage in genuine dialogue, which I think some people maybe genuinely are trying to engage in on TikTok. I think other times it's just people that need attention desperately. But to really engage in that in a meaningful way. I think that happens in real life when you talk to people in real life, people you know that love you, or even if they don't love you, they know you, and like you're engaging in conversation with them, and you can have meaningful, good conversations that way, not through, I don't know, some random TikTok creator. It's just so fake woke. Ugh, oh my god, triggered. Anyway, it's just, can we tell I have strong opinions? Anyway, wait, let's get more positive. Wait, let's roll it back and get more positive, because the whole point of this is that I do think, as I'm speaking very negatively, I do think positivity is lost, and it's affected me, obviously. And I think it's affected so many people, where it happens internally now, where I'm so used to such cynicism all around me or in the media that I consume, that even in my real life, I'll have moments, because I'm a sensitive girl. The people in my life know this. I'm a really sensitive girl. And I was watching the Dancing with the Stars dedication night yesterday, in tears, in a puddle. Every single dance I was in tears, right? Because I'm watching people celebrate the people in their life that they love. Wait, stop. I'm tearing up right now. That's hilarious. Anyway, but it's not hilarious. It's sweet. But see, I'll like censor myself or say like, oh, it's cringy to like find this stuff emotional, or it's cringy to be moved by this because it's not a big enough thing to be moved by. And it's like, what is the criteria to be moved by something, to want to talk about something, to want to celebrate something? You know, why am I so scared of being embarrassing? That's life. To grow is to be embarrassed and to move and persist forward on from that, you know? And I think that's just something that we did so well back then as a society. And it is tied to social media being around, for sure. Social media has been around since pretty much my early elementary school days, but not being the center of how we communicate and engage with one another. We still had third spaces, as everyone talks about all the time. And we're losing those rapidly, not because they don't exist, but because people don't know where they are. Even in New York, like the amount of videos I've seen of people saying, yeah, I just don't know what there is to do in New York other than like go out. And I'm like, you don't know what else there is to do in New York? There's so much to do in New York. Go and find those resources. There's every day I find new things to do in New York, and it makes me love the city more, right? These things exist not only in New York but elsewhere, but we have to look for them or create them ourselves to truly engage with one another in person, in real life. And my theory is, I think some of that whimsy that we've lost can come back, but it has to be real. It has to be organic. It has to happen in person, you know? Um, but yeah, this is already 20 minutes long, and I have to go to work soon. but and so I know I'm stopping mid thought. But yeah, that's when I think of the 2010s, I just think of joy. I think of living kind of freely in a way, or at least I'll speak for myself, at least I was. And I think because I wasn't as present on social media, or the way I was so casual. I used to post photos of cookies or my boomerangs. My boomerangs went crazy. Okay, boomerangs left and right. People couldn't stop me with a boomerang. I went nuts. Me and my friends, I was like, everybody get together. Boomerang time. I loved a boomerang, right? And I would post them all the time, and nobody could tell me nothing, because it's my life. I can do whatever I want. I can post a boomerang. I cannot post a boomerang. And I didn't care. I didn't care at all what people thought. It was crazy. And I missed that, Kayla. And I am on a mission to get her back, which is part of the reason I started this podcast, because I would talk myself out of doing a podcast all the time, because I was like, no one wants to hear what you have to say, or shut up. I don't know. My internal dialogue's nuts. But then I was like, you know what? I'm going to do it because I think it's fun, right? I'm not out to make a career out of it. I just want to do something fun. And I'm sitting here. I have 20 minutes before work. Why not do it? You know? And here I am. And here I sit. And here I lay, right? So yeah, I don't know. I think the process for me is every day push myself out of my comfort zone a little bit more. I talked about my Substack before I started acting recently, because I always grew up dancing. I'm a dancer. That's what I do professionally, and choreograph and all those things. And I started acting and I've fallen in love with it. Like I have so much fun doing it and I've always wanted to try it. And I've never told anyone that because I thought that was embarrassing. For some reason I thought as an artist you could only have one art form that you're good at or that you enjoy and don't you dare move into another one. Right? But that's always how it is, but you meet someone else who does it. Like I've met friends of mine now that are actors that transitioned into dance or also dance and I'm like, love it, get it, get it. But if I were to do that, I think that's, I don't know, this paint the scarlet letter across me. Like I think that's a, I don't know, blasphemous. It's just, it's ridiculous how we break ourselves down sometimes and convince ourselves not to do things. But yeah, I started acting and I loved it. And it's so out of my comfort zone. I'm so hard on myself sometimes, but I still keep going. As anxious as it makes me, I still keep going to class. I went to an audition, like it was an acting audition the other day, and I did a monologue in person, two people, and I was shaking in my little boots. I was shaking in my little fall boots, but I did it. And I'm so glad I did because it always goes better than you think. And I had fun, right? So every day, I think I'm getting closer to Whimsy, at least this year. My mission, because I just turned 24, is to take a step outside of my comfort zone every day because you only have one life and you might as well live it up. And also to kind of talk about the elephant in the room, this microphone isn't a microphone, believe it or not. It's a perfume bottle from TJ Maxx that I don't have the funds to buy a microphone right now, okay, for a podcast microphone. So I got a perfume bottle and I wrapped black tape all over it, period. Okay, she's nothing but resourceful. So yeah, that's what we're doing right now. Anyway, this has been some time with me, Kayla, and I don't have a name for this little ditty that I do because I just decided to do it 20 minutes ago. But this has been fun. Thanks for listening, and I'll probably do it again. I had a good time. So yeah, have a great week. And to the one person watching this, love you. Thanks, Mom, for watching.